Welcome to Recovery Recreation TV. I'm your host, Susie Lordy, and I'm also the founder of a 501c3 nonprofit called 24 Hour Power, Inc., and we do recovery graffiti all over Massachusetts. What happened was, at a lot of our events, people were coming up to us and saying, there's nothing fun going on around here. Now, we know that's not true, but we knew that that gave us a new mission, that we were going to have to go hunt down important things that people can do if they're trying to live a healthy, chemical-free lifestyle, right? All over Massachusetts. From Fitchburg to Falmouth and everywhere in between, we promise to deliver to you 2 stories from 2 different zip codes that let you know what's going on that month. Call it a sober calendar of events. Don't think you can't have fun sober. You just haven't hung out with us yet. Now today, I have a very good friend of mine, Ty Hunt. He is a hip-hop artist in recovery and just a great all-around dude. Ty, I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing me.
And importantly is that we have to remember how young people are when they have to get clean now and sober. It's unbelievable, really. I mean, back in the day, I didn't put the stuff down until I was 33 years old. But you know what? Fentanyl wasn't around back then. So now it's a whole different ballpark. And I just can't imagine how tough it's got to be for young kids when, you know, they get the news that, hey, guess what? You know, you can't use anymore. There's just no way you can use. And they're so young, it's got to feel like the end of the world. I mean, you know, I can't even picture it. So what we have to do is, all of us that are working in this industry trying to, you know, fight addiction, man, we have to step up our game. I know we're doing it with Recovery Graffiti. I know Ty's doing it with his hip-hop lyrics that are, you know, positive and recovery-based, and he's an awesome role model for people under 30, and that's what we need. So, Ty, I'm going to turn it over to you now. I know you have one heck of a story. Let's take a little walk down into the past, and why don't you tell us...
When I first started getting high, I can't put an age on it, but I was in elementary school.
Wow. Okay. So, and when you realized, listen, this isn't such a good time, okay, and you were trying to put it down, how long were you able to put it down in the beginning? Like when you first knew you had to stop using?
The first time I stopped, I was on probation, and I had to stop or I was going to get arrested. Uh-huh. And I continued. I just kept getting high. I would say.
How long were you able to
like
not have any system?
2 weeks.
Yeah. See.
Couple days. 2 weeks.
So now when you finally stopped, right? How old were you when you put it down for good?
26.
Wow. Now, what's different from you at age 26 when you were able to put this down versus, you know, when you were young trying to stop?
I walked into a worldwide fellowship of people who support each other, and I realized I can go anywhere in the world and be okay as long as there's a meeting I can get to.
That's awesome. So, yeah, and that's an important point, too, that we have to bring up. Your address book changes drastically when you get sober, okay? Mm-hmm. All the people who you thought were your bros and your friends and all this, trust me, when you ask them, hey, you want to go to a movie and not drink? Yeah. The answer is usually voicemail. And if it's not voicemail, it's like, nah, man, just can't do it. And, you know, it always blew my mind that these people weren't, you know, with me through my recovery. But that's one of those reckonings. And thank God they're not, because I'm sure I wouldn't be here today, and you wouldn't be here either, Ty. I mean, that's when they say you have to change, you got to change everything. They're not joking. But let's talk about rap, because I know rap was a big part of your life way before you put down the drugs, right? So what was it like for you back in the day?
I remember I was 12 years old, and I remember people would be outside of school freestyle battling outside school, and I remember being in my older brother's car, and he used to listen to like Bone Thugs and Harmony and Tupac and Biggie and Eminem and Big L and Big Pun, and I was attracted to it. I was attracted to that dangerous lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Like I'm an adrenaline junkie, and when I was rapping,
What were you rapping about when you started?
You know, the normal rap stuff like drugs and violence and criminal activity. Mm-hmm. Now, when I started rapping, this guy heard me. He came from the West Coast, and he heard me rapping, and he said, "You got to get on a song with me." So I recorded a verse on this song called Pink Elephants. Now, me and him are a part of the same record label today, and it's called Cult Music.
Oh, yeah.
And he used to tell me, you know, after I did that first song with him, all my raps were about drugs and violence. And he's like, "Ty, you can't be rapping about stuff that you're not doing, so you need to rap about the stuff that you are doing, that
Right.
a 12-year-old should be doing." And
Wow, so now you're becoming the 12-year-old gangster.
yeah, so I was like, "Oh yeah," I felt that as a challenge. So then, you know, I used to like worship like Scarface and just like all, you know, 50 Cent and all those people, and like had started to become the person that I was rapping about in the beginning.
Right.
And I hated myself. And I didn't want to live anymore, and I didn't know what my purpose was on this earth and why God spared me in that car accident back in 2005.
Wow, that's some heavy stuff. I mean, it sounds like this is like an act of providence, like to just, you know, God come down one day and say, "Hey, Ty, you know, there's better things for you." I mean, how did you stop? I know how tough it is to stop with addiction, but you had the whole lifestyle going too.
Yeah, there was a chain of events that happened. Like I had the studio of my city that everybody used to come to and rap at, and like the car accident, and then friends ODing and dying, and my brother being in and out of recovery, in and out of active addiction, and then I ended up having a spiritual awakening, and it was 6 months after a breakup, and I walked into a 12-step fellowship. I stopped using, and my bipolar kicked in. A part of bipolar is hypomania. A part of hypomania is hyper-religiosity. I thought I was Jesus. But now that I'm, further along, I realize the more I think I know, the more I'm in trouble, because I know is a part of closed-mindedness.
Your rap career, okay? So now that you're in sobriety, where have you rapped?
So I've rapped from Massachusetts, Vermont, Providence, all the way to California.
Wow. Just goes to show, right? We can go anywhere, like you were saying, so long as we remain spiritually fit. Mm-hmm. I mean, would you have ever thought that
Lost Dreams Awakened,
It's amazing.
I would have been cutting myself short if I wrote a list of expectations down when I came into recovery. I've already far exceeded it. When I first came in to recovery on that pink cloud, and they told me to get a sponsor, get a home group, and a service position, I didn't know why. I was going in there as a chameleon, like I always have been, and I took all those suggestions, and now that I look back, it's like I tell people those suggestions aren't to hurt you, and it led me to my first convention. We went to Vermont, and they had a dance floor, and I saw hundreds of clean addicts on the dance floor, and I had another spiritual awakening. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then they had an open mic and a talent show, and I went into the talent show, and I rapped like a little verse that I wrote. Now I didn't know if I should be rapping when I came into recovery anymore, because all the rap that I knew of when I was in active addiction was, Molly Percocet, Trap Queen, Kill Your Parents, like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I wrote a little verse, and I performed it at the open mic, and the room was completely jam-packed. And these people in this 12-step fellowship, they roared for me. Like it was like, it just blew up in there. They sparked something inside of me.
Yeah.
And that's like an example of, the people in recovery believing in me until I could believe in myself.
Wow, what a story. And now, I mean, you've already been dropping singles. So
Yeah.
what's the latest one you have now?
Well, about a year after that convention, I dropped my first official album ever, which was Holy Mania.
Yep.
And Holy Mania is actually about my spiritual awakening when I came in, because I was on a manic episode and thought I was Jesus. And then the latest single I dropped is Kilimanjaro.
And what's that one about?
Kilimanjaro is a battle between humility and ego. And it's like, what do you know about the come down off Kilimanjaro? Meaning, what do you know about ego taking people out of the rooms?
And didn't you that was a, your video for that is sick.
Yeah.
And Scott did that, right? Sando
Yeah,
from
Sando
Sando Films.
Films.
Yay,
Sando
we love you,
Films.
Scott.
He's gonna love
nice
that.
plug. But it's true. I
Yeah.
mean, awesome. And you guys filmed that at the Quarry, right?
We did five videos together, and that was the only video I let Scott take the reins on the whole thing.
It's awesome.
And he did a great job. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah. So now back to Kilimanjaro. You were talking about the ego. I just want people to understand what you mean. Now, when you were at the Quarries, was there a reason you were up on the mountain? Like, what does that symbolize to you?
Well, I've seen people, I've watched people fall out of the rooms of recovery. I saw them fall out, and usually the spiritual part will go first. You know, there's nothing spiritual about thinking you're the best and nobody can tell you anything.
Right.
You know, I saw people stop going to meetings. I saw people build walls in between them and their sponsor, thinking that their sponsor really don't have nothing to offer them, or thinking that the people from the halfway houses can't help them because they have a certain amount of clean time.
Right.
No matter how successful I get in music, I need to keep my recovery first.
Of course.
My recovery comes first, no matter what. I need to stay vigilant and focused and keep my recovery first, no matter what, because I don't want to.
Right, because without that, everything else is out the window.
It's gone.
You know, nothing's promised after that. That's for sure.
I'll lose anything that I put in front of my recovery.
And you're a blast to hang out with, Ty.
Yeah, come have fun. Come find me.
So I want to make sure that people know, you know, especially the young kids, man, they got to come find you. So, and you always have something good going on.
Yeah.
So how do people get in touch with you?
TyHuntOfficial.com, Ty Hunt Music on Facebook, Ty Hunt Official on Instagram. March 27th, I have a show at the Middle East.
Oh, cool.
In Cambridge.
Oh my gosh, I'll be there. That'll be
right.
great. Listen, Ty, it's been awesome having you here today.
I love you.
You're the best. I love you
you
too, my friend.
You're the
This is
best.
so awesome.
You're the best.
And we're going to be right back, okay? But first, I want to let you know, if you're ever looking for information on Ty and you can't find it, you can always come to us and go to www.recoveryrectv.com. And we're going to be right back with some more really cool guests and talk about what's going on in Walpole. That'll be interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. But until then, don't think you can't have fun sober. You just haven't hung out with us yet. Be right back. Peace out. And welcome back to Recovery Recreation. I'm still your host, Susie Lordy. Don't think you can't have fun sober? You just haven't hung out with us yet. And now we're back with these two young gentlemen from a brand new recovery center in Walpole called Turning Point Recovery Center.
That's right.
This is great. So we have Gerard Touchette.
Yes.
And we have Tim Kennedy. Gerard is a staff member, actually, at this center, correct?
Yes, I am the outreach coordinator, yep.
And he's also a fitness savage, but more on that later. Gerard, thanks so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Now, Tim, you're a peer in recovery,
Correct.
right? And you're going to give us your own take on what this recovery center is all about. So I like that. We've got a perspective from the staff member. We've got a perspective from someone that actually is taking advantage of these services. Yeah, that's awesome. But let's start with you, Gerard.
Yes.
How long has the recovery center in Walpole been around?
So we've been open for 5 months now.
Okay,
Fairly new.
great.
So our recovery center is It's state funded.
Okay.
Our host agency, Bay State Community Services, is a nonprofit. And they also have the New Way Recovery Center, which is, I guess, is our sister recovery
Oh, the
center
one in
out in
Quincy.
Quincy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And so who runs it now down in Walpole? Like, what's your staff? Who's your director?
My director, Corey O'Brien, great guy. He was actually the assistant director over at New Way for the last 5 years. So we are in very good hands. We're very good hands.
Great guy.
Yeah, good guy.
So give me a little background on the peers, right? Like, where are they from, and what's the age range? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, so the age is 18 over, but
Okay.
if you're under 18, as long as you're with adult consent, and you can also bring your children. We have a kids room for any young or old parents that have children and want to bring them or their grandchildren. We don't want that to
That's
be an
cool.
obstacle to join in on our meetings. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, and what are the backgrounds? I mean, are we talking, like, let's talk about where they're coming from. Are these people in recovery from alcohol, from drugs, medically assisted treatment? I mean, what do we have here?
All types of substances, addictions.
Okay.
You know, I mean, they could be in early recovery, seeking treatment. It could be people not in recovery, allies of recovery, like families
Oh, that's cool.
that are looking for resources, stuff like that for their loved ones.
This is a
yeah.
real community addiction resource center then.
Yeah, I like
Right.
to think of it as like it's like a hubway of recovery. To be
a
honest with
family,
you, we
okay.
support all pathways and.
And where's
yeah.
it located? You're in Walpole, but I mean, what's the
Yeah.
address? Where
So
you
it's
at?
the 32 Common Street. We're
Okay.
next to the United Church of Walpole. Our neighbors have been so supportive. We're so lucky. So lucky.
What are some of the towns that surround Walpole's Recovery Center here that could benefit from this?
Sure, like Walpole, Norwood, Dedham, Foxborough, Medfield, even down to Attleboro,
Wow.
up and down Route 1.
Yeah, that's awesome. This is good stuff. Now, Tim,
Yeah.
how did you get involved with the center?
I've-
Okay, I want to know about your road to the recovery. And, you know, is this your first go around, or what's your story?
No, unfortunately, I relapsed and I hit rock bottom. So now I just celebrated 1 year of sobriety this February 8th of this year.
God bless you.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
It's a vicious cycle, and it's really hard to break. So this wasn't your first go around. You were saying you relapsed. So relapse means that you were sober for a period of time, and then you went back out.
Correct. I think for myself, addiction's dual diagnosis.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
you know, this time around, I'm just, you know, hitting it head on.
How did you find the center?
I actually found it through my therapist, who is from Bay State.
That's
The
cool.
Recovery Center is
That's a great
affiliated with Bay
referral right
State.
there.
Yep.
Yep.
And from the minute I walked in, I loved it. They're so supportive. They're great
That's
group of
awesome.
people.
Now, Gerard, you're up. What's your background, your story, what brought you to the center? But first, what brought you to recovery?
What brought me to recovery? Just struggling, just kind of lost. Just remember looking in the mirror, just not knowing who I was even looking at. You know, like trying to find, you know, what happened to the person I used to be and what has become of me. And I think I just started stopped pointing fingers and stuff like that and started asking for help and went to treatment and didn't get it on the first go around, but I learned some things, and I think the
Me
last
neither.
go around 4 years ago,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Well, my last one, hopefully my last one, was a little over 4 years ago, and this time I spent more time inpatient, and then made sure that I was set up for when I got out of there. You know, my road was IOP, and then group therapy, and
An
then
IOP,
one-on-one.
just for people that don't know,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
Intensive outpatient.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you had a place that you were at, what, Monday through Friday that you were?
Yeah, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday
Friday,
for
okay.
3 hours.
Great.
I was just taking notes. I just wanted it so bad. I wasn't just in the room because I had to be there at this point. I just wanted it, and I was going to do whatever it took. So
What is it that they say when the teachers are ready? No, I'm sorry, when the student's ready, hello, the teacher will appear. And we're just lucky that it happened while we're still above ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because some of the lessons that I learn are people's gravestones that I go to visit, and
Yeah,
that's
I'm with you.
heartbreaking as well.
That's what kind of started that journey, actually, the spiritual awakening and just looking at my life from a higher power's perspective, I guess you could say. I just felt it when I lost my best friend 6 years ago, so that's what kind of started it, you know.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you're here today.
Medically assisted treatment, too. I mean, that worked for me. That worked for me. It helped me go back to school, mass rehab, and then eventually, when you're ready, I was ready to eventually come off of the medically assisted treatment. And it was not easy, but that was my process.
So huge to not stigmatize different pathways to recovery. I'm very glad that you brought up medically assisted treatment, because if you look at the statistics for people that specifically were heroin abusers, okay, the chances, and opiate abusers, I mean, the chances of making it without that just go down so much. Why would you take a chance if you had the opportunity? Now the center, everybody there is like recovery coaches as well, right? The staff that work there. Yeah,
we're all in recovery as staff.
Okay, and that's cool.
Which I think is important, and we're all been trained through Recovery Coach Academy and all that. The classes that follow that. And
what's your favorite thing about being a recovery coach?
It's to be able to just build rapport with the peers coming in.
Okay.
And learn from them, and then find out what their strengths are and their skill sets, and see how they can apply it to our recovery center, to our recovery community, because I feel they can help each other in that peer setting.
And this is a peer-run center anyways, right? So they can help out in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
Gerard, back to you. You're a personal trainer. Why did you get into that?
I love working with people.
Aww.
I love that, watching those transformations. But honestly, it keeps coming back to it's the mind first, then the body, right? We work out for the mind, and then eventually the body, in both. Yeah. So.
Well, and you're kicking the endorphins, right? I mean,
we're depleted. We're depleted in early recovery.
Okay.
Fit to
and
recover.
And that's at the center too, right?
Yeah, every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock.
Cool.
Yep, we get together, we check in, and we do a little workout. Nothing too crazy. It's a lot of fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah.
What do they bring with them? Do they have barbells? Do they have,
We have everything.
You have everything.
Everything
there.
you can think of.
Okay.
We do wellness planning.
All right.
And personal training. So they get tips from my classes. They take them home.
Okay.
So they can do things at home. I want you to learn how to live outside of the gym as well, as far as like overall health and wellness.
That's cool. Now, Tim, I know that this center here in Walpole, I think it started originally, wasn't it just called Walpole Recovery Center, right?
Correct.
And then how did it turn out to be Turning Point Recovery Center?
Well, and that's what we came up with as a community,
Yes.
as well as the staff. Yeah.
That's what I call a peer-run recovery center.
Yeah.
They
That's
even
right.
named the place. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Gerard, what are some of the activities going on for the month of March?
Oh, the month of March. Well, we have recovery, everything from recovery Dharma, meditation and Reiki, wellness planning, smart recovery is there. We want to get a couple 12-step groups in there. We want
Love it.
as much as possible. Hiking groups, bowling night. We got movie night coming up at the end of March. Oh yeah. So stuff like that.
This is great. We're all peers helping peers, especially if we walk this recovery walk. I mean, what days are you guys open, and what are the hours?
We're open 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday. We're open 9 to 9. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 9 to 6 on Thursdays, and 9 to 4 Fridays, 8 to 2 Saturdays. But, our calendar is forever expanding or,
That's a
changing.
lot, though. You guys are there 6 days a week. And now we got St. Patrick's Day coming up, and I know that's a big, big drinking day. So, I know that when I was in early recovery, man, I was like so panicked. I was like, I'm telling you, by the end of February, I was already picturing, what am I going to do on St. Patrick's Day? It's just such a frightening mindset. You just already are setting yourself up for sabotage or failure, or it's just amazing how these fears grip you, right? And so I bet you guys have something going on at the center, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually had the Super Bowl. We had the Patriots game.
That's
before
awesome.
that. I think that's important to just have a place to go other than meetings, because that's integral, obviously, for some people's recovery. But I really want a place, like for the holidays, we came up with this thing called Hope for the Holidays. So every holiday, we try to have some type of event where people can go, because it can be a hard time in the holidays, you know? We don't want people to isolate themselves and stuff like that. So, you know, just find balance in your life, keep busy, fill up those calendars, and I think we're a great place to do that over at Turning Point Recovery Center. You know?
And if you have underage children, so long as you accompany them, you can come.
Yeah.
Right? So that alleviates, you know, oh, I need a babysitter, I need a this or that.
Yeah.
You have a cool room for the little kids to be in.
Yeah, that's right.
What does it cost to become a member of Turning Point?
So it's free. Everything is free there. You don't need insurance or anything like that.
Pop in if you're in the neighborhood.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
and come see you guys. Have a cup of coffee and, you know, tell them what's going on. If people want to get in touch with you, right, and they're not going to just drop in, what are the best ways? Do you guys have a Facebook page they can like, or, you know, what do they do?
We have a Facebook page, Turning Point Recovery Center, where we update our calendars monthly. We have all types of fun things going on there. We also have a group page so that peers in the community can engage and you know, with that. So and post their own posts, right? And also you can call us 508-668-3960.
Stop by anytime for great support, great food as always, and a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, listen, it's been so great having you guys here. This is a huge blessing to us and a blessing to the Walpole community.
Thank you for inviting us.
We're thrilled. Gerard, it's been a blast. So nice to finally meet you in person.
Yeah.
And it's great to meet someone who has the same level of passion about recovery that I do, you know?
Yeah.
And Tim,
Thank you.
Congratulations on your year.
Thank you.
You have been an awesome power of example coming on the show. We're just thrilled to have you guys. So everybody, check out Turning Point Recovery Center in Walpole, Mass. And of course, we have the contact information for you, but if you need more, you can always find it on our website, which is www.recoveryrectv.com. And that's a wrap for this segment of Recovery Rec TV. I'm your host, Susie Lordy. Till next time, peace out.